Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. And we're looking here at a Veronica Lodge that I penciled in a previous video. Now, in that video, I had said that I wasn't going to be inking her in another video, just because I inked a lot in a lot of these videos, so I wasn't entirely sure what I could bring new to this one. But one of our subscribers, the lovely Karen Knight from Australia, she wanted to see Veronica inked, so I aim to please. A pushover for my subscribers. So we'll be laying down the inks on Veronica here. So Veronica is drawn in pencil. She's on the usual Bristol paper, nice heavy Bristol paper that could withstand ink. I've got my brush pen. Okay, this is my Pentel brush pen. My nice soft tip, some long bristles on that tip, which I know gives some people a hard time, but really, a little bit of practice, and you too can do it. You too can handle it. So there, I laid down a line going around her face, getting a little thicker underneath the jaw, and then thin at the end there. Now I'm going to use the brush pen also for her eyelashes. Her eyelashes, as you can see, they start out thick, but as they come around, they get thin, which is why I want to use the brush pen for that. So here they get thin, come around, and now they get thick. And I'm controlling the thick to thin just with the pressure of my hand. And I know that that's, sometimes that gives people some trouble. And that's where a little of the practice comes in. And the nose, I want to keep the nose fairly thin, not too heavy. And sometimes for the nose, what I would use is one of my Pitt pens, just because I could get a little bit more control with that. And for finer details, like this pupil here, where you may not want the line to get away from you or the shape to get away from you, you may want something with that hard tip. So something else you could use is my Pilot brush pen, and I've used this one before, and this one has a much firmer tip, as you can see. So I'm going to use that one to do this pupil so you can see it in action. And this has a lot more control than the first brush pen that I showed you. In fact, I'm going to use this now, do the little corners of her mouth and the upper lip, up, just like that. Get thin again for the other dimple, and I want to get thin here and come around and get thin the lower lip as well. Okay, and anywhere that the line gets a little shaky or you're not happy with it, you can always go back in and just clean it up a little. See, just like that, just clean it up a little. I explained in the penciling that usually I'm blackening out Veronica's upper lip, and then I'll leave her lower lip open, and that lower lip usually gets colored. Okay, now we're gonna go, actually I want to use the brush pen one more time for Veronica's eyebrows. And I explained in the penciling video that I like to give Veronica a little bit of thicker eyebrows, just to make her look just a little different than Betty. I'm gonna do a little bit of Veronica's hair. And I know that's one of the things that Karen asked specifically to see how I would fill in all of this hair. And as I said in my reply, she might be a little disappointed in how I do that. It's not as glamorous as you might think. I'm actually using the brush pen to do all of the parts that I have to be careful with the hair. So like these tight little shapes, these tight little highlights, I'm going in, and I don't have to be super careful because a lot of this is just black. That point there, just black. Now with this Pentel pen, and I've mentioned this other times that I've used this pen, you can really fill the pen with whatever ink you prefer, whether it's Black Magic, Pelican, whatever it is that you like. I'm not sure what ink they put in it, but I kind of like the ink that comes in here. It's nice and black, and it dries fairly quickly. Okay, I'm going in, just filling in these little areas. That little tuft of hair up here. I want to jump down to this highlight. See all these little corners where I would require a little tough maneuvering. That's where I want to fill this stuff in. Okay, now I'm gonna go in and do Veronica's shoulder. A bit of her hair there. The underside of her arm. I already signed this because I thought I'd be leaving this in pencil, but that's okay. Okay, so most of the finer lines, actually, I left the bridge of her nose undone. Usually I only show the bridge when I'm doing extreme close-ups on the girls. Otherwise, I like to leave them bridgeless. Okay, now I'm going to get to the large areas of black in her hair. And for this, I'm going to break out the big, fat Faber-Castell brush pen. Yep. Say, for large areas of black, you don't have to be that careful. So I'm going to break this out. And this really has a tip. It's a soft tip, but it's very much like a magic marker. And really, again, you don't have to be super careful here. So you can just go around and these large areas, just fill them in. And that's the beauty of this thing. This is like a workhorse. This does my heavy lifting with a lot of blacks that I have to fill in whenever I'm inking a job. And it seems to last a fairly good amount of time. The ink in it, I'm not super thrilled with because it is prone to a little bit of streaking and a little bit of graying too, I've noticed, in stuff that that you leave for a while. So sometimes what I do is once I've filled it in and I let this sit, once the ink dries, I take another look at it. And if I feel like, I'm not 100% pleased with it, I just go back in with some better ink and just clean up any streaks in it. And this is a fresh pen too. I opened this one up just for this video, so maybe that's why that's why the ink is behaving as nice as it is. And you could actually see, I think you could see a little bit of streaking show up on camera. Okay. And just this little bit there. And that's really how I fill in my big blacks. Really, and I'm using this pen, but really anything that can make a black line is fair game. Any tool, any medium that could fill in black for you, feel free to use it. You know, in comics, it's all about what prints, what will reproduce. And really, you don't really need the best black in the world because, you know, once it runs through a printing press, black is black. But for a one-off piece that's going to be a, you know, a commission or a private piece for a collector, there you may want to take a little bit more care. So right now I'm just noodling this a little bit and just tweaking the little areas, cleaning up the little areas that that big point couldn't get to. And that's it for Veronica. She's done. So now what I would do is, of course, let this dry. If I have the time, I'll at least give it to overnight. And then I would go in and I would erase my pencils. Erase all those pencil lines that you see. And then she's ready for color. And actually, I'll add in one last thing, which is my signature. And there, we're good. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If anybody has any questions at all, please leave them in the comments below. I'm always happy to answer questions, reply to comments. I really appreciate the interaction. Thanks again for everyone who's been subscribing. We've had a fairly active week. We've picked up a few new subscribers. So if you enjoyed the video and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Then click like, hit that bell, and sharing always helps. So if you can spread these videos around and let other people, other Archie fans or just art fans in general know, that would be a big help to the channel. And as always, anybody have any requests, put them in the comments below too. All right, thanks a lot, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.